What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Healing in Hindsight, but the final episode of Healing in Hindsight, at least for season two. Um, yeah, it's been a good one. I am really proud of how season two has come out. I feel like, just in the short time between doing season one and the way that I did season one versus how I did season two. I feel like it sounds better, it flows better, and it's just an ever learning process. If you've ever been interested in podcasting, um, I say go for it. It's ever changing. I don't think that there's really anything that I did the same this season that I did last season. Definitely were some constant tweaking of things, but it's only to make it better. So in this last episode for this season, I just wanted to really talk about moving forward and what that's going to look like and plans for season three and, you know, things that I want to do with Healing in Hindsight in general and some things that I'm going to be doing in the off season as well as some special thank yous because I feel like anything that you create, you always have a support system. You always have somebody who has your back in that process. So I really want to take the time to do that. Now, full disclosure, guys, you do not see me this round. I really did not plan on there not being video for this. So I apologize, but I'm glad at least I have video for the first part. But my allergies have flared up. It's actually supposed to snow here in Texas, which it's not that it doesn't ever snow, it's just very rare, obviously. And so the very rapid shifts, like we've had days in the 70s, right? And then it just has been like plummeting. And so I've only recently been involved in allergy life. I have never had any type of seasonal allergies ever until I think 29. It was 28 or 29 when I traveled to a certain part of Atlanta. And then again, last year, I had a complete allergic reaction. It was crazy. My face blew up and got tested and learned that I do have some mild allergies to certain molds, dust, certain trees. Yeah, but anyway, so um, my sinuses have been on fire and very congested. So I tried to wait where I could breathe through my nose, basically. So hopefully I sound okay, and I will do my absolute best to make sure that you're not hearing me snot all in the microphone because, everybody loves snot, right? With that being said, let's get into it. It is the final episode of Healing in Hindsight Season 2. You're listening to Healing in Hindsight, your no BS source for thriving with diabetes. What's up, guys? I'm Daniele, and it's my goal to help millennial diabetics like myself live an amazing life without your diagnosis getting in the way. I get it. I was diagnosed back in 2015 with type 2 diabetes, and it was really hard to find people around my age to understand how to travel, socialize, or even have meaningful relationships. But I feel like with a focus on mindset, perspective, and nutrition, together we can take back our health and our lives. Consider this the red table talk, but for diabetics. Minus the entanglements, though. So let's do it. All right. So I think the first thing that I would like to address, not address, that sounds really intense. That makes me sound like I'm some very, very important, highly official person. But the first thing that I would like to talk about, that sounds better, is just kind of the future of the show. Um, there were definitely a lot of things that I played around with this season, and obviously some hangups. I definitely want to acknowledge that there were some moments that didn't happen, which is the, the Thanksgiving episode and the New Year's Eve episode, which is totally okay. I think you just have to be flexible in this type of environment as a online influencer, content creator, or whatever you want to call it. Um, and I still feel really good about the season and how it turned out. But yes, there will be a season three. And as I stated, in season one, when that ended, I definitely feel that seasons work best for me personally. Um, I know there are a lot of shows out there where there's an episode released every week, and if they take a break, they take a break, but it's usually like one day off. Now, um, just full transparency, season one, I batch recorded a lot of those episodes and then batch edited by myself those episodes. And so that's why you got the full season up front with that. Now, in hindsight, pun totally intended, there's a part of me that felt like maybe I could have spaced out the timing between season one and season two, and because I did a full upfront season, be able to give it more time to kind of sink in, marinate. But the reason why I gave myself, about a 4 week ish break in between seasons is because I genuinely wanted to go ahead and tackle some of the things that I learned from season one. Um, especially the tech. I think that's a huge piece that I had to quickly pivot on. I was able to invest in some higher quality gear. And when I say invest, I mean I bargain shopped the hell out of it, so even though I got some better gear, I made sure I got a good deal on it, you know what I'm saying? So that, and then just, I will say adding in, I have the Focusrite Scarlett Solo. For those who are wondering, like that already by itself just amplify things. I did not have an audio interface in the last season. I just had a mic and a little amp to boost the power on it, if you will. And then I was using Zoom, and I was still trying to figure out Zencaster, and there was just a lot of stuff, right? So I feel like right off the bat, just getting the audio quality better was already a huge step in giving you guys something worth listening to, right? And then there was the content side of things. Obviously there's a shift. I did a whole new intro because I felt like I needed to broaden my audience in a sense of I didn't want it to just stick with type 2 diabetics. I know that's what I know and understand, but I feel like the diabetic community is so diverse in the types. There's a type like 1.5, there's I'm gonna so slaughter this gastrational diabetes for those who get pregnant. So there's all different variations and forms of it, and there's pre-diabetes, all that kind of stuff. And so I felt like it was best to take a step back and just, give everybody a hug. You know what I mean? And I felt like by broadening who I was speaking to, because we all have a lot of common factors in what we go through. We are reliant on keeping our A1C down and our daily blood sugar levels in check. We're having to ensure that the food that we eat, what time we eat it, is important. Some of us are on insulin. Some of us are taking medication. Some of us have to take insulin. There's a very variation in it, but I just feel like as a whole, all diabetics understand what other diabetics are going through to some degree. Everybody's situation is unique, but there's just common ground, and I really felt called to include those voices and those perspectives. So I'm going to continue with that, for season three. And there's a slight, small pivot, which I mentioned in a previous episode when talking about like spirituality and health and how they kind of go hand in hand. And that is just recognizing that what I want to do, I wasn't kidding when I was saying like red table talk for diabetics, because I feel like it's important to have different perspectives and have thoughtful conversations around what we can do at home, what we can do at work, as we're navigating the pandemic. as we are trying to find a new sense of normalcy. Like, there's a lot of information and a lot of perspectives that should be heard. And so I still want to stick with that. But I also see myself as someone who is like a springboard, a getting start, a starting point. And I just want people to really think about it. And I feel like I'm kind of your, if I lean on my actual like day job profession, I'm the person who onboards you. I'm the person who makes you familiar with it if you're not, and kind of helps you get in the right mindset and gets a starting point. Because there are a lot of great coaches and dietitians and people out there. I mean, as I've been getting to know people in the diabetic space, there are a lot of great people out there who can help and who have different ways to get you to where you want to be. And I I came into this with a thought at first of like, okay, I'm going to reverse my diabetes and then I'm going to teach you guys what I did, which can still happen. But at the same time, there's still a whole batch of people who don't fully have that option, right? And so all I want us to do is thrive. You know what I mean? And that's why the show has shifted in the way that it has. So, you know, that's what I want you to see me as. I want you to see me as your go-to homie to talk about these things, and yeah, have some strategies and tips, and maybe have a resource to connect you to. And maybe there's a content creator out there who has the answers and can help you with that. But I'm your tour guide in the life of a diabetic, if you will, and I really feel comfortable in that space and holding space for these conversations. So that's kind of where the show is going. And with that being said, I really want to have more guests on the show. Now, to be clear, I don't consider myself an interview style only podcast. I know that, if you ever decide to dive into podcasting, that's like one of the things that come up. Like, are you just going to be the only person talking, or are you going to have guests? And I knew coming into this that I was going to do both. And I want to have an even mixture of both, because I feel that I want to keep you guys updated with my personal journey and the things that I'm learning along the way. But also, I have, great perspectives and people that I've networked with who I feel like need to be heard too. But I think where I want to make this a little bit different, or at least different is not the word, I'll say kind of like a throwback, in that I really want to hear from everyday people. I really want to hear from the community, just like a radio show where you call in and you request your favorite song or you share your opinion on something. Like, me and my sister used to listen to um, black radio shows every morning on our way to school or getting ready for school. And even though, like, in the back of my mind, I was annoyed because I just wanted to hear the music, I started to learn and appreciate those conversations and those silly topics that were happening at the time. And like getting to hear everyday people get on and talk. And I always used to feel like, oh man, maybe one day I should call in. I'll never get on or something like that. But I never tried, to be clear, because I was just too scared. But even so, like, I really enjoyed when everyday people got on and shared their experiences. So with that being said, seriously, you do not need to have some great huge following or even be on Instagram or anything like that. Like, if you are a diabetic, no matter what type that you are, and you want to share your story, like, your voice has the power to change. And I am all for being a platform to help people put the message out there, whether you've figured out the cheat sheet and you got all of your shit together and you're, on your way, you've reversed it, or you're managing it really well, or you're struggling, because it's fine. I struggle still. I am in no way perfect. I am in no way um, doing, the best every single day. I have, days where my numbers are really, really crappy. And I have days where my numbers are great. And it's just an ever evolving thing. And so, I'm in Facebook groups with other diabetics, and people are feeling just really, you know, alone. And I feel really, really, really like just a strong calling to tell you, share your story, because you have no clue who's listening, and you have no idea who might be inspired to connect with you and be your accountability partner or whatever. So, be sure to head over to my website, healingandhindsight.com, clubhouse.com/contact. At the very top of the page, you can schedule a 30-minute chat with me to see if you'd like to come on the show. Um, because I want to hear your stories. And I think it's important for people to know that there really is a large community of us. I know it's not the most exciting community, right? It's not always a good feeling sometimes to be like, oh man, yeah, I'm here with the diabetic homies and we're all just arm in arm trying to fight this sugar battle, right? But at the same time, we need to support each other and we need to lean on each other. Because when you have a common factor, which is, a disease at this point, it's helpful to not feel alone. It's helpful to know that you can bounce ideas off of other people or, take a strategy from this person and a strategy from this person and tips and recipes, whatever. Um, it's great to have that, And so I just want to make sure that we know that we're all out here and in my opinion, there's no divide. It doesn't matter if you're type 1, it doesn't matter if you're type 2, it doesn't matter if you're pre-diabetic. Like, we all can learn from each other and all can advocate for each other because insulin is still like top 10, top 5 most expensive liquids in the world. Like, it's not water that you can just go turn the faucet on. Like, it's a hormone that your body produces. And it is insane the amount of money that people have to spend, especially if you do not have insurance. And so I just really feel like the more that we can talk about our stories, the more that we can band together and lift our voices, the more that we can get some attention on making healthcare easy for everybody. It makes zero sense that healthcare is not something that is just easily accessible to everybody, especially for those who have to take insulin. That's life or death. And so the more that we can band together on that, the better. So head over to healinginhindsight.com/contact and hit me up. And let's see how we can, tell your story, because I think it's really important to do. So, speaking of sharing stories, right? Now that I'm about to go into break mode, which doesn't necessarily mean that I'm not going to be doing anything. As you all know, I've had my first giveaway, which is for Clubhouse invitations. I have 4 invitations, and by the time that you hear this episode, the winners will have been selected and even potentially announced by then. So I won't sit here and pretend like it's the day of and I'm able to say it now. But I will be going live to announce those winners. And if nobody entered, that's cool. I'll keep it going, because Clubhouse has become something that I'm really enjoying. And so all I want to do is I don't want to sit on these invitations and I don't want to send out an invitation to anybody and they don't really care or they don't really find interest in it. So that's why I'm doing this whole competition. Not competition, it's not really a competition, it's just a contest of just leave a review and send it to me. And, anyways. So I have been hosting rooms, or by the time that you hear this, I will have been hosted a couple rooms. I have moderated. I have participated in rooms. But now I'm going to be regularly scheduling rooms to connect with other diabetics on Clubhouse. And so feel free to find me at Taylor Danielle on Clubhouse if you have access, and hang out with me in a room. I'll be doing, or I'm testing out, 2 days a week in the mornings where we're doing diabetic affirmations. And all you do, it's only going to be an hour long. You just pop in the morning. It'll be at 9 a.m. CST. And you state what your affirmation is for the day to help you with your diabetes. Whether that's, hey, I woke up, checked my numbers, and I was at, 98. And I'm really proud of that. And, my affirmation is that I'm going to make even better choices with my eating today. Or my affirmation for today is I'm going to make sure that I meet my hydration goals, or whatever, whatever your mantra or whatever it is. I just really feel like mindset is important, and how you start your day has a huge effect on how you end your day. Now, it's not to say that things can't, come in and throw a wrench in it, but at the very least, you'll be in such a mode or at least, let me back up. The way I see it, if you start off positive, you're more than likely to end positive. Now, if something gets thrown in there that throws your energy off, that's where you have to learn how to step away, take a couple deep breaths, maybe go back to that, positive affirmation that we did that morning to put us back in alignment. But I do feel like starting your day off right is important. That's all I was trying to say. Words, y'all. Words. Okay. So join me on Clubhouse. You can search my events. They should be showing up in all of the scheduled ones because I'm scheduling them all out. And then I'm doing a couple of other different rooms, just to kind of, talk through different things. And like I have a room scheduled, uh, that is for diabetic stationary fanatics. Because have I not told y'all how much I love pens, paper, sticky notes, planners, journals, notebooks? Like, I'm the person that you can't take to a bookstore because I'm going straight for the notebook section, even though I might not have finished my current notebook or journal or planner, but I'll buy another one because it's pretty and I like the layout or whatever it is. I really don't need that much of an excuse. I just gotta like find some kind of attraction to it and then I might spend the money on it, right? Like Aaron Condren store here in Austin, I have to distinctively either be across the street from when I pass by it or hold my hand past my face so I don't look at it because I'm that person. I know y'all, some of these planner sites, and you're just like, how do you spend that much money? Now, I still bargain shop because me and my happy planner are getting along just fine. I also love the passion planner. I send me your planner suggestions. Like I'm that person. I would try them all. Now I'm not as fancy as like, especially I love following bullet journal Instagrams and stuff like that because I do. My happy planner is a hodgepodge of things, and I've purposely bought bullet journal paper that they have pre-punched for it, because I don't. Me and dated planners don't flow right. I'd rather get an undated so I can move things around, stuff like that. All that to say, having the time to make those spreads so gorgeous, I'm getting there. I'm finding it's very calming for me to do. So I'm trying to work that into my self-care routine of like not only planning out my week, or my month or whatever, but also just the aspect of like making it look nice. There's something therapeutic about it. So you should see my Pinterest, my Instagram. Like I love following them because I'm just like, oh, it's so gorgeous. But at the same time, I have not been sketching like that. So my drawing skills are just nowhere near the level. And don't get me started on lettering. Like I really want to get the lettering down, but I just either don't take the time to do it or I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong. Like I have the brush pens. I don't know. Like somebody help. But I that's the kind of stuff that I want to have rooms about because we're still normal people, right? Um, but it's something that I would like to see who's interested in because I might have some things up my sleeve. So, the other thing that ooh, y'all, this is a big one. And maybe big one is too much, but obviously, if you are following my Instagram or you go to my Instagram and you go to my IGTV section, there are a few episodes that it's the video version, if you will. And I have been enjoying it. It just took me a minute to get all my camera stuff together and make sure that I can get the editing somewhat down, or at least enough to get a feel for it. So that's why the whole season is not filmed. I was hoping to do that, but just getting everything together took a minute. So I really do want to recommit to doing that regularly. If you've ever ventured to my YouTube channel, I'm so sorry because I have not been good about posting, even if it's just the audio on YouTube. That was something that I really wanted to ensure that I was doing when I started. I felt that that was important. I know people use YouTube a lot, not just for visuals, but to listen as well. Um, there's just been a lot going on. And now that I'm like thinking through my new workflow of having to include video, um, it's added a bit of work and I haven't gotten my system in the best place to be able to consistently bring that. So that's also why I like having breaks in between seasons, because it gives me the opportunity to take a step back and see what needs to be rearranged and to get ahead. So I do want to get video podcasting um, going consistently, especially with guests. Now, to be clear, if you ever decide to be a guest with me on the show, video is absolutely optional. I will never make anybody have to sit on camera, but it'd be nice if you want to. I'm looking at streaming services to see how I can, make it look nice and shorten the editing process, things like that. I think I've narrowed it down to Ecamm or Restream. So if you're a streamer out there, a live streamer, let me know. Because I actually wouldn't mind trying a live stream episode. Um, I haven't done, or Instagram Live is one thing. And I know that there's ways around getting your equipment hooked up and stuff like that. But because Instagram is still kind of being stingy with allowing you to use your computer to stream to and stuff like that, um, it can be weird. So I'm thinking through a lot of those things because I do feel like there's still power in seeing somebody and seeing their expression and how they do things. And I've always kind of wanted to have a YouTube channel. I just didn't really know what I was going to do. So this is kind of a happy middle because I'm doing two things at once. So, um last two things, and then I swear I will get out of your hair. Um is I really have been wanting to do um or get a shop going. If you've been on my website, I clearly have a page there, but ain't nothing there yet. Um, and that's because I've been trying to think through what I would like to offer um, to you guys as something that's going to be useful. So I have really been feeling called to like digital products in a form of like journals and workbooks, things like that, because at least for me, and I know a lot of people would just be like, "Oh my God, this is so taboo. Don't like make products that you would use yourself." Um, but like think about your audience, think about what they would want, that kind of thing. Like I get the business aspect of it. But if I'm just being honest, you guys, like if I don't want to use it, I wouldn't want to put it out there for you to invest in. Like straight up. And so um even if it's a small, group of people who would be interested in it, I really feel like, you know, writing things down, organizing my thoughts, keeping up with my numbers in some form of log has really helped me get a sense and understanding of where I'm at with my, diagnosis and how I'm living my day to day, and helpful things that I can take to my doctor and be like, all right, let's put our heads together and see how we can adjust this, from making sure I'm taking my medication, all that kind of stuff. So I am in the process of putting something together in a digital form because I'm not in a place to ship anything physically to you guys, but in a digital form that you can use to really help you along your journey. So be on the lookout for that. It's still, I'll just be honest, still a couple months out, but I just wanted to put the bug in your ear now that I've got stuff coming. I hope you like it. I really, really do. I didn't want to be like, buy some merch with, healing in hindsight on it. Like, I want it to be something useful for you guys. Um, while I'm still growing the brand, and, I still want merch. I've been wanting my own dad hats for a minute. So just saying. So it's not that clothing stuff ain't coming. I just really like digital journaling planner like stuff, and I feel like it would just be really useful. So that's in the works. Those are things that I'm thinking through and trying to pull together, so that way you have access to resources that that I'm using and that can benefit you and your journey, and be able to keep track of stuff like that. That's all I'll say for now. I got way more stuff up my sleeve because I'm always scheming. That's just who I am. In a good way. So, the last thing that I really wanted to do before I close out this season is there's absolutely no way that I would be, you know, sitting here, I guess. I was going to say standing here. But there's really no way that I could end this season without saying thank you to um, quite a few people, honestly. Just because, you know, I'm not saying that this is hard in a sense of like the technology and the setup and all that stuff like that. I mean, there's some tweaking to it, right? But the act of getting on here and recording myself and putting myself out there, it can be intimidating. It's definitely intimidating, especially in a world where we have made online presence such a defining thing in people's character nowadays. And that if you're not online and you're not having all of these crazy numbers of people paying attention to you, you're not important. And so, despite that, I still feel like I want to continue doing this. I am so grateful to the listeners that I have currently. It is such an honor to know that someone out there is listening. Again, huge shout out to India. I really am grateful for you guys because you guys have been blowing up my metrics, and I really do appreciate it. So I truly hope that you are finding value in what I'm sharing, which is also why I want to do some digital stuff because I would love to do whatever I can to offer something to you guys, all the way overseas. And then, of course, here in the US, I know things are crazy right now, but even still, like diabetes don't sleep simply because the world is going crazy, right? So if you are here in the States, or North America and you're listening, thank you. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep doing stuff. So tell your friends, share all the things. I would love for it to grow organically into something that can change the world. I truly want Healing in Hindsight to do just that. But alongside all of you amazing people that are listening, because there's literally no reason why I would really be able to do this or feel encouraged to do this, honestly, if you guys weren't tuning in. I always said, even if I'm reaching one person, that's enough to drive me, and I'm reaching about 200 of you. So I appreciate that so much. But I definitely want to say a special thank you to my guest, who took time out of their days and their busy schedules to share their wisdom, their knowledge, their stories, not only with you guys, but with me, um, you know, on while we're recording and offline. So special thank you to Michelle. Michelle, you already know you have been such a tremendous light and help to me. But I just wanted to publicly and openly say how much I appreciate your time and your wisdom on our episode together. We opened the season together, and I'm truly grateful for your presence to my listeners and to my life. So thank you so much, Michelle, for everything that you have done and are continuing to do. Second special thank you, Lexi, my type 1 diabetic. I really am so grateful for you also coming on and sharing your story and really doing something great for not only diabetics in the US, but diabetics in Africa. With your medical bracelets and your clothing and your other accessories that go with it. Like it's a powerful thing that you're doing. And I see you, girl, you getting in all types of articles and stuff like that. And so, for those who don't know, Lexi was the one who brought it to my attention that Iran had no insulin. And so, although I have not experienced insulin myself, I can definitely empathize as someone who has to take insulin, how detrimental that can be for a lot of people. So, Lexi, thank you so much for everything that you are doing to advocate for type 1 diabetics and all diabetics because, I know that it can be a lot with what you have to keep up with, and it is a life or death situation when it comes to your insulin. So, know that you are appreciated and know that I am constantly in awe of everything that you're doing over at the Sugarless Society. And then next, my best friend Kiva, or Nikivia, as you all know, I just wanted to say thank you so much to everything that you've done for me, not only as my best friend, but just as another businesswoman. You have been a boss since the day that I've met you. And in watching me go through all of these changes and then kind of dealing with your own insulin resistance type situations, just seeing you be such a radical force of change in your community, in your friends, and your family. So thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show and to be a voice, from the other side. Because there are a lot of diabetics who also have PCOS, and I really do feel like it was a great conversation for us to have to, you know, find more common grounds with more people on why it is important to think about your blood sugar levels and think about, how your body is absorbing and using insulin, because it is vital to everybody, right? So thank you so much for your time and your energy and all that you do. Excuse me, y'all. And then I really feel like I want to go back and also give a shout out to season one guest. In the last season of season one, I ended with the guest. So I want to just make sure that I properly say thank you to my season one guest, Kara, the grateful girl, my amazing black vegan queen, and really good friend, best friend. We met through work, and I am just very grateful, pun intended, for the times that we have spent together, the times that we continue to spend together, because it really does mean something to me, to have you as, an advocate, not only for Black women all over the world, but for mixed Black women, and to provide perspective. You are the compassionate vegan that I know, and it's made me have an more open mind to other vegans. I was definitely one of those people that was like, oh my God, you're probably batshit crazy because you're just going to tell me I need to put down the meat. But you have been so just genuinely nurturing in not being judgmental and sharing your knowledge, and giving ideas and things. And even from a business side, you've always been so open to share and help me out with things. And I'm still thinking about TikTok. I don't know how I feel about it. But even so, thank you for coming on to the show last season and sharing your perspective on the transitions that people face when you have to do any type of lifestyle change surrounding food. I think that was a vital perspective that a lot of people learned from, that no matter what your setup is, whether you're diabetic or not, be mindful of when people are going through those changes. So thank you for everything that you have done and continue to do. And then to my partner, Elijah, I know we had a very interesting conversation and some technical difficulties with our episode, but I am just glad that you are willing to support me in the efforts of trying to just be a light for the world, and you are just graciously along for the ride in a way, and having to be aware and understand, the dynamic of my life and how it can differ. And I mean, it doesn't hurt that you're a medic, but it really does mean a lot that you support me in doing this, and that you understand, and have shifted, some thoughts and behaviors to be in support of not only my vision for healing in hindsight in this business, but everything that I want to continue to do beyond that. And then just your support in my health and myself, and making sure that, you're not having a direct hand, because, obviously at the end of the day, it's up to me to make those choices and decisions. And I just appreciate the balance that you found in being considerate of my needs, but at the same time ensuring that I take responsibility for the choices that I make. So I love you very much, and I'm really grateful for everything that you've been doing and enduring, with the late night editings and having to record at odd hours of the night sometimes, or having to shut you out of the room, so I can, take meetings and stuff like that. So it really means a lot to me that you've been so patient and supportive. So thank you. And last but not least, um, absolute biggest of all major daddy's girl shout out to my dad, the infamous IT Tony T, also the owner and founder of We Are 8 Studios. He is the man behind the mixing board, ensuring that what you are listening to right now sounds like it came straight off of the biggest production studio in the world. I am so grateful to have you on my team, not only as my dad, but as a business, partner in a way. I really appreciate you taking time out of your workday to make sure that not only I sound good, but the guests that have come on us sound good. And I really just appreciate, you being on standby to be able to stitch everything together so well. Give me tips and pointers on how I can make this better, and just everything that you have continued to do in pursuing your business and being such an example for me that it does not matter what age and stage that you're at, you can go for what you want. So I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for taking the time to do this for me. This means a lot, and I hope this is nudging you closer to starting your own thing. I've been telling my dad that he needs to start a YouTube channel, podcast, something for a minute, and he told me when I started that that he'd be taking notes. So hopefully we can be hearing from something soon, but if not, that's totally okay. Make sure that you find the link in the show notes. I've been putting it in every episode. We Are 8 Studios. If you need jingles, if you need some audio mixing, maybe you might edit your podcast for you. I don't know. But if you need anything in the terms of audio engineering, things like that, be sure to hit up We Are 8 Studios. I'm sure my dad would love to sit down, chat with you, and figure out how he can assist you with you and your brand. So, with all of that being said, ladies and gents, and everyone across the spectrum, thank you for the patience and everything that you have done to support this show. I will be back in about a month or so. I don't know. I haven't decided on an official date, but just know season 3 is coming. I'm excited to continue to grow with you guys, to continue to just refine and make things better for you to engage with and understand. Again, I am on Instagram at Healing in Hindsight. Facebook, same thing. And the brand new social app, Clubhouse. Find me at Taylor Daniele. Let's chat. Pop in a room. Like I said, I'll be hosting rooms in this off season and, maybe doing some other exciting things. But again, just so grateful for all of you for taking the time to listen. And until then, I'll see you guys in season 3.